Urgent news shakes the NBA behind the scenes. Stephen Curry is officially out for the upcoming games in the series between the Golden State Warriors and the Minnesota Timberwolves. According to ESPN sources, Curry suffered a grade 1 strain in his left thigh during Game 1, played last Tuesday, and the estimated recovery time is at least 1 week. This means the point guard is expected to miss up to Game 4 of the series, scheduled for next Monday, the 12th. What makes this news even more impactful is a detail few have noticed. This is the first time in his career that Stephen Curry has suffered a muscle strain, and that changes everything. The unpredictability of how the body will respond to treatment, the risk of re-injury, and the importance of a safe recovery turn Curry's injury into a true medical and strategic enigma. The injury occurred in the second quarter of Game 1. Curry went for an explosive play, felt pain in the back of his thigh, and was immediately taken off the court. The image of the number 30 sitting on the bench, his face grim, already made it clear. This wasn't just discomfort. Tests confirmed what Golden State feared most. Curry is out, at least for now. And if you live the playoffs like we do, you know that every absence, every detail, can be the difference between glory and elimination. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Here, you get breaking news, real analysis, and a community that understands what's at stake when the greatest shooter in history isn't on the floor. Even without Curry for much of the game, the Warriors pulled off a heroic road win. They stole home court advantage from the Timberwolves by taking Game 1 in Minnesota. It was a solid team performance with intense defense and an active rotation. But the big question is this sustainable without Curry for 3 more games? Since 2018, Curry hasn't missed a playoff game. That year, he sat out the start of the series against the New Orleans Pelicans due to a knee injury. Even then, he returned midway through the matchup, played in 4 of the 5 games, won off the bench, and helped the Warriors win the series 4-1. But that was a different roster. Kevin Durant was still on the team. Klay Thompson and Draymond Green were in peak physical shape. Today, the margin for error is much smaller. The 2025 version of Golden State relies on Curry more than ever. He's not just the face of the franchise, he's the engine of the entire offensive system. The spacing, the tempo, the reads, everything starts with him. Without his presence on the floor, the team loses not just points, but identity. And now, facing one of the most physical rosters in the Western Conference, every absence becomes a vulnerability. The expectation for his return is cautious. The Warriors' medical staff knows that rushing him back could be disastrous. The plan is simple. Wait and see how Curry's body responds to treatment throughout the week. But time isn't on Golden State's side. Games 2 and 3 are coming up in the next few days. Game 4, the earliest possible return, is on Monday. If he's not ready by then, his next chance will be Game 5 on the 14th. After that, the decisive matchups, if the series goes that far, are scheduled for May 18th and 20th. Behind the scenes, the tension is building. Players like Klay Thompson and Draymond Green will have to take on even more central roles. Youngsters like Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody will need to show maturity under pressure. Steve Kerr's system will be put to the test like never before. The Game 1 win gave the Warriors some breathing room, but the series is far from under control. And perhaps the most symbolic fact of all, this injury breaks a 7-year streak of Curry's playoff consistency. He's battled through ankle, hand, and knee injuries over the years, but never a muscle strain. This calls for a different protocol, with delicate and unpredictable stages. The body's response could be quick or slow, and Golden State will have to wait. The Warriors have always prided themselves despite still playing at a high level, but represents a short-term. For the first time since the start of the dynasty, the franchise finds itself in uncharted territory. A tight playoff series against a young and talented team and without its biggest star. The battle is physical, but also mental, and the clock is ticking. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think the Warriors can hold on to control of the series until Stephen Curry potentially returns? Or could this injury be the turning point that puts the Timberwolves ahead? Comment down below what you think is going to happen. Stephen Curry is out, and time is the enemy. As the Golden State Warriors struggle to digest the absence of the greatest player in franchise history during a decisive playoff series against the Timberwolves, another bombshell is beginning to take shape behind the scenes of the NBA. A story that, if confirmed, could forever shift the balance of power in the Western Conference and directly impact the legacy that Stephen Curry is still fighting to protect. Yes, we're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, and his potential destination might be the Houston Rockets. But before we dive into this shocking twist, we need to understand the weight of the moment. Curry suffered a grade 1 strain in his left thigh during Game 1 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The initial projection is that he'll miss at least through Game 4, possibly also sitting out Games 5, 6, and 7 if necessary. This is the first time in his entire career he suffered a muscle injury, and the first time he's missed playoff games since 2018. Golden State managed to win Game 1 despite the injury, but the shadow of what lies ahead is looming large. Because it's not just Curry's absence that's worrying, it's what's building around it. On the other side of the map, in Milwaukee, a giant appears restless. According to analyst Greg Swartz of Bleacher Report, if Giannis Antetokounmpo requests a trade this summer, the Houston Rockets are ready to offer everything. Everything. And that could mark the end of the Golden State Warriors era of dominance as we know it. Since winning the championship in 2021, the Milwaukee Bucks have won only one playoff series. A staggering number for a franchise once praised as a model of consistency and patience. Now, with Damian Lillard facing a serious Achilles tendon rupture and much of next season in jeopardy, the outlook has changed. Giannis, despite signing a new 3-year, $175 million deal, is beginning to reconsider what he really wants. Loyalty or titles? At 30 years old, with season averages of 30.4 points, 11.9 rebounds, and 6.5 assists in 67 games, he's still at his peak. And with that peak comes a silent demand to compete. Houston, on the other hand, is hungry after falling to the Warriors in the playoffs once again. The 5th straight playoff defeat to Golden State in the Curry Green era. The Texas franchise knows it needs more, and they have the assets. A lottery pick this year from the Phoenix Suns, an unprotected 2027 first-round pick also from the Suns, plus young talents like Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., Amen Thompson, Cam Whitmore. It's a bold offer that could convince Milwaukee to turn the page. Just imagine Giannis alongside Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, Alperen Sengun, and a young core already tested in the playoffs. Imagine that team returning to the postseason not as an underdog, but as an immediate contender. With Giannis in Houston, the Western Conference becomes a minefield. LeBron, Curry, Jokic, Luka, Shai, Wembanyama, Edwards, and now Giannis. It's a collision of legends, a battle of MVPs. And what makes it all the more dramatic is the timing. Today's Warriors are not the same as in 2015 or 2018. The franchise still has a heart of champion, but the body is showing signs of wear. Draymond Green no longer dominates like he once did. Klay Thompson is facing physical and psychological decline. And now, with Curry sidelined, all that remains is hope. The hope that the foundation can weather the storm. But what if, by the time Curry returns, the world has already changed? That's the question echoing through NBA circles. If Giannis joins the Rockets, the Warriors won't just be facing a new rival. They'll be looking to mirror what they once were, a young powerhouse hungry with a dominant genius in his physical and mental prime. The roles are reversed. The threat now comes from the South. And this isn't just a jersey swap. We're talking about the birth of a potential new dynasty. Giannis is 30 and his game is built to last. With him, Houston goes from promise to immediate force. And if they manage to retain part of their young core, they could be dominant for years. On the other hand, despite still playing at a high level, a rebuild represents a move unthinkable just months ago, but realistic in today's landscape. And now I ask you, if Giannis really goes to the Rockets, can the Warriors still dream of another title? Or will this be the final chapter of the dynasty built in San Francisco? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because if this trade happens, it changes everything. And if you love this kind of content with deep analysis, behind-the-scenes intel, and cinematic storytelling that puts you inside the drama of the NBA, subscribe to the channel now. Hit the bell, leave a like, and become part of a community that lives basketball as a real-time story. In the next videos, we'll explore what Milwaukee might do the day after losing their biggest star, and which other franchises could join the race for Giannis. Because if Houston moves, others will too. See you soon, because summer is just getting started, and the game is about to change for good.